morning, students. This morning we are going to take up another piece of actual writing that is a requirement for your board examinations. Alright? And that is writing a personal profile. Alright? Now, what is a personal profile? A personal profile, before we go into this defining what's a personal profile, let me tell you the uses of it. Now, when you are seeking admission to a college or university, alright, you have your academic records, that's the statement of marks and other credentials, other certificates that are submitted for along with your application for admission. So that gives the authorities an idea of your academic ability. Right. Now, the purpose of a personal profile is to give a description of yourself, to tell them what makes you an outstanding person besides being a good student. Alright? You may have performed well in your academics, but what the authorities want to know is what merits you, or what makes you an outstanding person who should be considered for admission to a particular course in a particular college or a university. Alright? So just academics alone is not enough. It has become almost compulsory when you are seeking admission to various courses in different colleges. Now it has become mandatory that you submit along with your certificates and other applications, a personal profile. Now, so since it has become almost mandatory, it's compulsory in all the foreign universities, and even in Indian colleges and universities, it is becoming more or less a mandatory thing. Alright. Now, therefore, it's a very important thing. Now, not only when you are seeking admission to a college or a university, but also when you are applying for a job in an industry or a firm or an institution later on after completion of your studies, you are expected to submit a personal profile along with your CV or your biodata. Alright? So therefore, it is an important piece of writing. And as a piece of writing or a specific type of factual writing, this particular exercise is an exercise in amplification. It is an exercise in amplification. Alright? So this is an exercise given to you in amplification. That is the way the question is set. The points are given to you in the question itself. All that you need to do is you have to develop each of these points that are given in a logical sequence. And each of these points that are given, you shall develop into 2 or 3 sentences, and then you will have a small piece of essay which tells what makes you outstanding and that is your personal profile. So you have to just so it is essentially a blurb of your career profile. Blurb of your academic or personal profile. So it is a blog means a short description, a short or a brief description of yourself. Alright? And when you are writing a personal profile, one of the main things to keep in mind is to avoid melancholy. All that is sad, all that is negative about you, all your drawbacks, you do not bring it up in your personal profile. Okay, now let's look at the personal profile. Let's try to define it. Okay, a personal profile is a short description. It is a short description outlining the personal of an individual. Alright? So what's a personal profile? It's a brief description of your attributes. That means your special qualities, your special traits as an individual. We say every individual is unique, and therefore what is your uniqueness? That's what you are going to describe briefly in this. Now, this particular exercise or this personal profile is regarded as an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch designed to capture the attention of the authorities to capture the attention of the authorities so that they will hold the candidate for an interview. So that describes what is a personal profile. Now, when you are applying to a college or a university for admission, it's not only you, there are hundreds of students, hundreds of other pupils who are seeking admission in the same university. Now, what you are trying to bring out here is to try to impress the authorities with your uniqueness, with your outstanding qualities, and persuading them to consider your case as exceptional or outstanding from the rest. In other words, you try to persuade them to consider your case above the others because you merit it, because you have such personal qualities, such positive qualities which makes you different from the rest of the applicants, so which makes you high above the rest of the applicants. Now, here I have used an expression called the, see, look at this word elevator pitch. Now, what's an elevator pitch? What does this phrase mean? It's an elevator pitch is a brief speech which is persuasive, An elevator pitch is a speech which is persuasive. Alright, now let me give you a description of it. A persuasive speech in order to arouse the interest of the authorities in you. Now, why this particular expression elevator pitch is used? Because this speech is supposed to be so brief as to last only about 20 to 30 seconds. 20 to 30 seconds. Just like an elevator ride lasting about 20 to 30 seconds. From there you have this expression elevator pitch. So it's a very brief description of yourself in which you try to persuade the authorities to consider you as a person above the rest. So you are trying to convince them that you are by far above the rest of the applicants and you merit and to be called for an interview among the applicants. Is that clear? Okay. So it's a very brief description of yourself, and I've told you early, you shall only bang on or highlight your good points, good qualities, positive aspects. None of your negatives shall be included in a personal profile. So this is the description of it. A personal profile is a short description outlining, that means sketching, giving a sketch of, outline of, in brief. The personal attributes, attributes are traits or qualities, and qualities of an individual, alright? Talking about an individual, because every individual is unique. That means different from the rest. And so what you are describing is what makes you different from the rest of the applicants. Then it is regarded as an elevator pitch. An elevator pitch, I explained to you, it's a brief description that intended to arouse the attention of the authorities or the persons to whom you are speaking. So it's a persuasive speech, a brief persuasive speech intended to capture, draw the attention of the authorities, who shall eventually be deciding on whether to give you an admission or not, whether to give you, first of all, a call or invitation for an interview or not. Authorities, so that they will invite the candidate for an interview, and that is the final process in which you are finally admitted or rejected. Alright? Your application is admitted or your candidature is rejected. So that's the final step. Okay, so that's the definition of a personal profile. So we shall take it up step by step. So today I give you a description of or a definition of what is a personal profile, and then now we shall look at it a little deeply now. So therefore, it is an application for admission to a course in a particular college or a university. What is it therefore? It is, the purpose of it is to, by a personal profile therefore is attached with an application for admission to a course in a college or a university, or along with the biodata for a job. Okay. Then, now the second important thing to remember about it is considered an important criteria to assess a student's preparedness for a particular course. So another important aspect to remember about this personal profile is it is considered an important aspect these days to evaluate or to assess a student's preparedness for a particular course. You have applied for a course in medicine, or you have applied for a course in engineering, and then, so how well prepared are you to pursue this particular course in this particular college or university that you have selected? Okay, so this is an important criteria these days. Now, next thing to remember about this is a personal profile therefore should be well thought out and intelligently written. It should be therefore, so it's an important criteria, and therefore it should be well thought out and